Thanks for coming by. Are you having a good time? It's the last day of the con, though. So it's kind of a sad time, right? Back to reality, I guess, right? Yeah. Well, yeah, hopefully I have some time to check out some of this guy's work, because he has been a very busy man lately. Me, myself, and I, a great show, Bob Moynihan. Also, I saw him in 1517 in Paris, Clint Eastwood's latest film. We'll make sure to talk to him about that. And of course, got to start on Family Matters. So, make some noise, everyone. This is Jaleel White. So we're just talking about it backstage a bit, but 1517 in Paris, working with Clint Eastwood on this, 1517. They had the real guys come out and do this movie, which is amazing. What was that whole experience like for you?
Quick. Mr. Eastwood has a very specific process. He's worked with the same people for a long, long time. And he doesn't even say action and cut. He just says, go ahead. And he politely asks you if you'd like to do it again. So it's very nice to work with people. When I did Dreamgirls with Bill Conlon, it's really nice to work with directors who have so much power on the set and they're not abusive. Instead, you get a chance to see their gift is that they're just the kindest collaborator. So, Dirty Harry is a kind collaborator.
That's good to know. And another show, Me, Myself, and I guess hit TV last year, 2017. I remember talking with Jack Razor about it. He was doing some press with it. He was so excited about the show, and he absolutely, he said it was so fun being on it. What was your experience like?
I had a great time. I did a show last year on CBS, Me, Myself, and I. And, sometimes people don't understand the show only lasted for a season, but, there's like layers and layers of politics for why a show gets on the air and why a show doesn't last. And you can't say anything, we have a job, just kind of like you guys. It was like, I always thought Jack was the star of the show because it really was kind of like a modern day Wonder Years, except you were flashing, forward into his life. So that was really cool. That's what drew me to the project. But you can't put on a show that had a 14-year-old star at 9:30 at night because the 14-year-old girls who are supposed to be watching it don't get a chance to see the show. So that's where I don't get to ask that question of the network, and you're just respectful of why their decision was, and it went to the wayside. But I'm proud to say that's one of those projects that didn't go to the wayside because it wasn't good enough. Yeah. It just wasn't programmed where it needed to be.
And for someone
Jack's gonna work a ton. The kid's a star.
He's gonna be in the new Shazam movie.
Yeah, there you go. So I'll be asking Jack for a job soon.
He's good. And for someone like yourself who's been in the TV and the film game for so long, how has it changed over the years? How is the show working on Me, Myself, and I? How is that different from?
My manager just started laughing. He's like, that's an encyclopedia question. I think the number one way that television has changed now is just everything is on demand. There are very few shows that you guys are willing to stop your lives and watch when it comes on. I know I can't wait until Game of Thrones comes back, right? So it's like, Game of Thrones, hey, to shut off the phones, turn off the lights, lock the doors. Nobody likes to be disturbed while those dragons are flying around. But for most people are binge watchers. And they want us, and you shouldn't even advertise your show until it's ready to be viewed. Yeah. So all of that coming soon, it's like, you're boring me. Get out of my way with that picture, their billboard if it's coming soon. I actually just binge watched because I watched it for research actually, to qualify. But I watched every episode of Cobra Kai on YouTube.
Yay.
I binge watched it because I was researching, this new original programming on YouTube because my daughter loves YouTube. So I take my cues, and I would encourage you guys also to take your cues from young people. She watches YouTube first. She watches Disney Channel second. Wow. And if you'll even notice, all the Disney Channel stars have like ridiculous followers. Yep. Like they've all got China McClain and all these kids from Descendants, 8 million, 10 million followers. I mean, sometimes I wonder, I'm like, man, been on, when Instagram kicked up, how many followers would Steve Urkel have? Right, so, but again, people would have thought they were following Steve Urkel and not Jaleel White. So that's how things have kind of changed, and I just take it all in stride, and I particularly love when kids find me on Hulu now, and I love that. I think that's cool to span generations.
You literally missed Ralph Macchio by one day. He was here yesterday.
Okay,
so,
you what?
Matt, you were so close to actually gonna have the crowd game with us.
That would have been a nice selfie. I think I would have reached for that one. I would have reached for that.
But yeah, and even your work, ending up on things like Netflix and whatnot. Has that really caused like a bit of a resurgence? Or are you finding that you're seeing a lot of younger fans getting the stuff you done years ago?
There are. I had 3 little boys out there that were chasing me around literally, and they were saying just Jaleel White phonetically correct over and over and over again like robots. And I knew why they were doing it. It's because they were so proud of how much they had researched me online. And so we're a Google generation, and I particularly enjoy interacting with people who are knowledgeable about their programming. You could get away with things back in the 60s and 70s and 80s in television. You can't get away with now because with the internet, people are going to dissect it. They're going to find every Explorer truck that shouldn't have been in a shot in Game of Thrones. And they're going to create websites about the stuff, and they're going to find every mistake. So, we did things like, Judy went upstairs and she just never came down. You can't get away with that shit, man. Producers didn't feel the need to even answer it because they've done it before on previous shows and didn't answer for it. And any amount of chatter out there in the world to say where is Judy? It didn't develop a groundswell. So.
You find yourself kind of lucky that you were got started really young, but it was before like the social media era, because I think now it's really intimidating as a young actor to put yourself out there, and then there's a lot of positive stuff, but then there does come the criticisms and whatnot. So and the selfies and getting chased down the street. Like, do you kind of find yourself lucky that it happened when it did?
I was arguing with Ric Flair back there about who's better, Michael Jordan or LeBron James. It's ironically he was team LeBron. He was team.
Really?
But what was cool is that it's like you have to respect that every generation is going to feel its own nostalgia. And so it's like, I love that I grew up without cell phones dominating my life. But my daughter's going to grow up and be like, how would you even think of living without an iPad and a cell phone? And so when she gets to have kids, trust me, there's going to be something else. She's going to be, well, we had iPads and cell phones, and she's going to defend that. So I don't like to see generations at war with each other. Instead, you just, the truth of the matter is, if I had come along later, I wouldn't have gone to college. I know that for a fact. Because if you're a star now in television or movies, Jack Dylan Grazer shouldn't go to college. I'll be honest. He would be foolish to shelf his career for 4 to 5 years and expect it to still be waiting on him when he graduated. I come from a different era. Myself, Fred Savage, Danica McKellar, all of us felt this parental pressure almost to be like, you're part of a generation that goes and gets a degree. So I wouldn't want to be on a college campus having kids film me in class. I wouldn't want to be at, frat parties or college parties or athlete parties with people trying to take pictures while I drink or take a puff of something. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I wouldn't want that. I can't. Their generation knows how to deal with it. My generation would be in constant confrontations or fight or flight. So.
Yeah, it would have been interesting too, because then going back, the first episode would have aired, and you could have actually went online and then got, figured out what people were saying about it, and it would have really...
Yeah, every episode you could have, everything for me was, that's another thing how the business has changed, is as a performer, networks and stuff, they aren't really interested in your instincts. They're interested in what their data says. They're interested in what their data says, how they should program and what they should put on. That's kind of unfortunate because there's this connection, there's this magic that happens when I'm in front of you and I'm performing, and I can hear your responses. I can hear when a joke runs flat. I can hear when they like that and maybe we should milk that. I can hear all these things, and so you kind of become my toy. I remember I was talking to somebody the other day about Dave Chappelle and Kevin Hart, and they were like, I don't think Kevin Hart's all that funny or whatever. And I said, have you seen him live? And it's like, no. I said, you should see him live. He was like, well, I've seen his Netflix special. There's a wall between you two. It's a glass screen, and there's an editor and marketing. If you see those guys live, they're brilliant at what they do. Get as close seats as you possibly can, and you'll see they're interacting. There's nothing takes the place of a live performance, live music, live. This is the human connection that creates the magic. There's so many moments in Family Matters when I go back and I look at the episodes where I'm like, if that wasn't a live performance, that wouldn't have happened, because I wouldn't have been allowed to just play the moment and elongate. I remember there was a scene where I was just in a hammock and I'm like fighting to stay on the hammock. And that's old Jack Benny style physical comedy right there. There's no way to write Steve fights with hammock and get that past an executive this day and age. And the executive's like, well, what happens in the hammock? I need more explanation. And it's like, well, he's going to squabble with it, and he's going to become frustrated. I don't know if people want to watch that. I don't know. Like, now I'm subject to his ability to envision what I would do with a hammock and given 30 seconds to screw around with it. So, and I know what I'm hearing in the audience. I'm like, okay, the laughter's dying down. Get back to the dialogue. That moment is done. So that's what I loved about. I loved about performing in front of live audiences. I was actually talking to my manager right now because sitcoms are starting to come back. Suffice it to say, it's unfortunate what happened with Roseanne, but they're starting to come back because of the reboots, and I wouldn't mind doing another one at this point. And I've purposely stayed away and done dramas and different things, but I don't know, who would like to see me in another sitcom?